This video was sponsored by Arte.tv. It's the 9th of June, you're standing in line in the blazing heat or in the rain and you're asking yourself what you're doing here. You know you're about to cast a vote in the European elections, but while you feel like you're doing something, you don't really know what that is. You've maybe heard the name Ursula von der Leyen or about the European Commission and Parliament, but you're not actually sure how they got their jobs or if your vote actually had to do anything with it. But when you slip your vote into the ballot box, you're actually playing your part in one of 3 elections, and it will kickstart a series of events that will determine who will be the future leadership of the EU. So how do the European elections actually work? How do people get power in the EU? And what does your vote actually mean? It's the story of 3 elections, 2 of which you vote in, 720 members of parliament, 27 commissioners and countries, and 1 union. This is how the European Union's elections work. So, back to your vote between the 6th and 9th of June. Depending on where you live, the European election might work a bit different than your national one. Every country has a limited amount of seats to fill, somewhere between 6 and 96 out of 720 depending on how big the population is. And the thing is, your vote goes to a political party. When the election result is announced, seats are assigned proportionally at the national level, based off of party vote. Together, these national parties form political groups in the European Parliament. There are currently 7, organized according to the most common parties found in many EU countries: the far left, the Social Democrats, the Greens, the Liberals, the Christian Democrats, the Conservatives, and the far right. And finally, there is an 8th group of non-affiliated parties. European parties are basically big tent movements which kind of cover the same issues. For example, the Dutch Liberal Party, the VVD, is in the same European party as the opposition D66. The European Parliament approves the budget, negotiates on EU laws, and participates in the EU's second election by approving the President of the European Commission in a vote on the 8th of July. That's right, after your vote there is a second vote within the European Union, the one that elects the European Commission, the people you probably see or think about when you hear about the EU. And in order to get these people elected, there are actually 2 competing systems proposed respectively by the European Parliament and the European Council. On the one hand is the Spitzenkandidat system. When you go to vote for a party to represent you in the European Parliament, you will also see who the party leader is and who their leading candidate for the European Commission presidency is. If your party has a majority, then this party leader is set as favored candidate for the Commission president. This happened successfully in 2014 with Jean-Claude Juncker. But since it actually is the European Council who officially nominates the Commission President, the Spitzenkandidat system can easily be overruled by the heads of governments of the countries making up the EU. This is what happened in 2019 when Ursula von der Leyen was chosen over Manfred Weber for the role of Commission President. After that happens, the remaining commissioners are selected by their respective countries and also approved by the Parliament on a vote on the 19th of December. It's also the reason why the political background of EU commissioners match up closely with the governing parties of their own countries. Because of this procedure, the national elections actually play into the politics of the European Union. But it's not the only way they have influence. The Council of the European Union, not to be confused with the European Council, which like the Parliament negotiates and votes EU laws, is made up of 1 minister from each country. So if we summarize, there are 3 elections: the European elections, the national elections, both of which you vote for, and the Commission, which is elected indirectly from both of your other votes. The results are institutions that represent the EU, national governments, and European citizens, and that work together to make the EU what it is. And since EU laws and policies come from the haggling between the Parliament, Council, and Commission, any changes in the makeup of these institutions means changes in what the EU does. And so that's how your vote in both national and European elections make the EU what it is. If you like this video, then you will surely appreciate today's sponsor, Arte.tv, and what they have to offer. Arte.tv is a European public content platform which is available on Arte.tv on their mobile app and smart TV app, which are completely free. And they also have a YouTube channel which is called Arte.tv Documentary, where they upload many of their documentaries and magazines about politics and society. In fact, Arte.tv also made a series of explainer videos on how the European elections work. So if you're looking to understand what's happening with more depth, then click on this playlist right here. And if you're looking for more stories about Europe and also geopolitics and society around the world, then you can also watch this playlist with many of Arte's awesome documentaries. Also, feel free to go check out their platform using the links in the description down below.